Welcome to Understanding Chee. In these videos I'm going to explain a bit about what Chee is, what it means, and how you can find it and make use of it, and how you can use it to keep you healthy. But I want to begin today in our first part just by explaining a little bit about what it is and also giving you the opportunity to realize that it's not some of the things that people think it is or talk about. So, what is it? What is it? Well, it's not the same as the word in Tai Chi. So we say Tai Chi, we say it like that, and it sounds the same as Chi. But the Chi that I'm talking about is normally spelt these days Qi, Qi. And we had some T-shirts done a little while back, and it was a great joke because they said Chinatown Qi with LCTKD, Chinatown Chee with LCTKD. And we thought that was really clever, but nobody bought them, and it transpired that people were going, Chinatown QI with LCTKD. What does that mean? So, Chi, QI, Chi. Now, interestingly, in Tai Chi, the thing that we do, it's not normally these days in China spelt the way we spell it in Britain today, or indeed most places in the West. It would normally be spelt as one word, T-A-I-J-I, Tai Chi, and said like that, Tai Chi. And it means supreme ultimate, so it's a different thing. It's a different word altogether. So why is it still written C-H-I and left that way? It's written like that because it's the old way of transferring Chinese characters into English, in fact, into any language that's not Chinese. We call that process Romanization, and the Wade-Giles method of Romanization was much used, very popular till, well, 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And only later on have we a more modern method called the pinyin. And in pinyin, Tai Chi is Taiji, and Chi is spelled Qi. And why don't we say Taiji and spell it that way? Because it's become so embedded in our culture in the West that people wouldn't understand it if you didn't spell it the old way. So Tai Chi gets kept the old way. So it's not even the same word. When you're doing Taiji, you're doing something different. So Chi, what is it? Translations, commonly translated as vital energy. Now, that's because there was a very good translator of Chinese concepts into Western, into English, in fact, some time back, quite a long time back. And she struggled with some of the words, but she made a special effort to get as close as possible. Qi doesn't really fit in the Western cultures. It's not a simple way of understanding it. And so she tried to relate it. And the Chinese language is filled with references to different kinds of happenings, And in the West, it's filled with different kinds of stuff, motor car, a picture, a person, a spouse. It's not filled with happenings, going, awakening, and so on. We're much more orientated to nouns. And so the Chinese language, words like Qi didn't translate so well. And interestingly, Chinese doesn't use verbs and nouns differently in the way that you do in English. So commonly in Chinese, it's the same word for a doing thing, a verb, or a thing, an existing thing, a noun. And so there's a really interesting quote from Confucius when he was asked how properly to order the world. He said 4 words. That was his answer. It was just 4 words. And the 4 words were repeated. Each of them was repeated. So it was 2, 2, 2, and 2, and those 4 words. And in English, those words are ruler, ruler, minister, minister, father, father, son, son. So that's how Confucius would have ordered the world. Isn't that wonderful? There's no women in it, by the way. So this is another thing about Confucianism. Interesting. So why does he make those characters like that? Because the noun is the same as the verb. In English, the better translation is the ruler rules. The minister ministers. The father acts like a father, and the son acts like a son. This was how Confucius suggested that we order the world. So when you're talking about Qi, it's commonly translated into English as vital energy, and that there are many good reasons for this, because when you consider all the things that you could translate it as, it's not a bad stab, but people then get the wrong idea. So they get the idea that it's sort of like electricity, or they get the idea that it's somehow measurable or findable. Even worse, in translating again from the Chinese, there is a concept of the essential substances. So the essential substances being bodily fluids, blood, Jing, Qi, Shen. And it's not the place today to talk about what all of these things are, but the point is Qi's in that list, and it makes the idea that Qi's a kind of substance like blood. If you delve around in people's body, you'd find it. So, of course, you won't. You won't. And you won't because it doesn't mean this. It's not the same meaning. So, I'm going to explain about Qi, but let's just pause, and I want to give you the right context. So the right context is, how do you feel when you're doing Tai Chi? Do you feel good? I guess you're signed up because you feel good. You're here because it makes you feel good. Does it make you healthier? Yes, I guess. Once again, you're here because you believe it makes you healthier, or you hope it will make you healthier or keep you healthy. Do you feel anything particular? Do you feel a sensation when you do your Tai Chi? So most people who are experienced in Tai Chi, and I mean years of experience, they feel a sensation of particularly their fingers tingling and things like that, but they feel something happening when they do their Tai Chi. Now, some people say, oh yes, it's all myth because you just keep telling them that they're going to feel this, and they feel it after a while, or you hypnotize them into feeling it. Hypnosis is not one of my skills, but in any case, a little while back I had a telephone call, and the call was from a community psychiatric nurse, and he said, I understand that you're the person to ask, and it's a really strange question, but the question is, I have a patient with me, and the patient is decided that he would practice some Tai Chi and it's good for him, and I would like him to continue. However, he's doing his Tai Chi and he's beginning now, after a while, to get this sort of funny feeling in his fingers, like they're tingling. And he's worried that it's his mental health affecting what's happening, and perhaps he should be stopping. So, of course, I told him, no, don't stop, you're doing really well. What's interesting is this person had no concept that to experience anything and hadn't been in classes to be hypnotized. So the experience is there and it's real and people will feel it. But we can't say what it is. And if you researched it and looked for it, it'd be hard to find, wouldn't it? Be hard to find. So let's begin our exploration of Chee by looking at the character, the Chinese character for Chee, the way that it's written down. So a little bit of explanation, wonders of modern technology is coming up. So here's Chee, the character, as written in Chinese, and what's interesting about it is that it's made up of a different number of parts. And the bottom part, the sort of like a starry thing, that's meant to, that's a symbol, it's the word for rice. Particularly, in this case, the curvy bit that goes around it, curvy bit, is sometimes suggests a pot. There's different ways of looking at it, of course, but there's a suggestion that this is rice in a pot. So at the bottom, rice in a pot. And then coming off the rice at the top, these little lines that come at the top, these lines, the lines are steam, vapor coming off. So Chee isn't the rice, it's not the pot, it's not the vapor. These are all stuff. It's not stuff. It's a happening. It's a happening. It's the rice being cooked and the vapor coming off. So it's what happens when you're cooking. Something happens. Vapor comes off. This happens. It's not any stuff. There's not a picture of it. It's the happening that's happening. So now I'm going to try to talk about this happening a little bit, but it's let's get about understanding what the happening is. Let's understand it. When you wake up in the morning and you feel lovely and you want to get up and you're filled with something, you say, yeah, I feel so full of life today. If we took a bit of scientific approach to this, we could start to cut you up and look for your life. You know what? We couldn't find it because you can't find life if you cut people up. Don't try at home, it wouldn't help. But you can't find it just by cutting people up. But we say we're so full of life. Actually, it goes on. We can say more things. We can say, I'm on fire today. Or, I'm filled with anxiety. Or, I'm full of hope. Many of these kind of comments, and I'm sure you could find some more. I'm in the zone. No, you're not. You're in the living room. Something like this. So many of these comments they're just a metaphor. It's a metaphor. And the same with Chee. Chee's a metaphor. So when we are talking about Chee and experiencing it, let's take the first step. The first step is it's a metaphor. You wake up, you're filled with Chee. In China, they would say, my Chee is flowing today. When you're doing your Tai Chi, let me give you a little thing to practice. So I'll go sideways on. What I want you to do is I want you to do this exercise. So this is usually called raising the jing. So bend down, put your hands low, lift up and push up. I'm going to run out of camera if I do it, but up all the way up to the sky. And just do this a few times. Now I'd like you to do it again, but what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to push your neck forward like this. Keep your neck forward, and now do it. Quite hard. So, oh dear, don't do it for too long because that will hurt you. So you feel that? What they'd say in the Chinese medicine, they'd say your qi is blocked. And your qi is blocked by out of alignment, poor posture, tension. These things block your qi. So what do you say in English? You could say you can't do the exercise, it doesn't feel so good because you haven't aligned yourself properly. Yes, that's a fairly boring way of saying it, don't you think? Your qi is blocked. Okay, how do I unblock my qi? You align yourself. Okay. And so this means that this feeling of being full of life is great because you can let that nice feeling pass through you. The feeling of being full of life passes through you. If you put yourself out of position, the feeling doesn't pass through you. Your qi is flowing. So let's go a little bit further with this metaphor. In China, qi is used as a common word for all sorts of things. So your football team has good qi. When it plays badly, it's lost its qi. It lost its football qi. Your racing car has engine qi or racing qi, and otherwise it's lost its qi. If your fridge stops working, its qi is gone, lost its qi. So we're sort of using this metaphor all over the place. And in healing, in Chinese healing, we talk about qi being everywhere. There's qi in the environment. There's Wai qi. There's qi all around us in the air, breathing in the air. Zong qi. There's qi in the food you eat. Gu qi. I wonder if they got the name from that. There's Wei qi, guardian qi, which is about filling us up with immunity. And there's all sorts of other qi. Now, what's interesting about this is it's all things about making this feeling of being alive happen and keeping it good. This is what the qi metaphor is. Making the feeling of being alive happen and keeping it good. If you do this, you'll make yourself healthy and you'll stay healthy. So qi is a metaphor. There's good qi everywhere, and we have qi within us. We can make that qi work by doing the right exercises, by doing the right motions and so on. So this is part one. Qi is a metaphor. If you're looking for magic, it's not coming in part two or part three. But you might be thinking, yes, I like the metaphor. I understand more about how words come across from China and get misrepresented. But I believe there's more to qi than that. Yes, there is. So follow me next time and I will tell you more about it. Meanwhile, embrace your qi.